Hello students, welcome back to Vedantu's NCERT solutions for class 11 and 12. We are going to discuss the 11th question from D and F block elements. So the question has 4 sub-questions. First one, transition metals and many of their compounds show paramagnetic behavior. Explain. And we need to give the reasons. Next, second sub-question is the enthalpies of atomization of the transition metals are high. Third question, the transition metals generally form colored compounds. Fourth one, transition metals and their many compounds act as good catalyst. We need to give the reasons for the following statements here. So let's discuss the very first one. So which is transition metals show paramagnetic behavior. So the paramagnetism arises due to the presence of unpaired electrons. Unpaired electrons. So each electron has a magnetic moment. That is associated with its spin angular momentum, and orbital angular momentum. In the first transition series, the orbital angular momentum is satisfied, is quenched. Quenched is nothing but satisfied. So the resulting paramagnetism is only because of the unpaired electrons that are present. And we have the second question. So second is to explain the enthalpy of atomization of the transition metals. So why they are high. Okay. So second one. So transition elements have a highly effective nuclear charge. And also a large number of valence electrons. But what is this enthalpy of atomization? So enthalpy of atomization, it is nothing but it's the mutation in the enthalpy, mutation as in change in the enthalpy that occurs when a molecule of a substance is reversed into existing atoms in a gaseous state. This is nothing but enthalpy of atomization. So as we have already discussed, transition elements have a highly effective nuclear charge and they have a large number of valence electrons. Alright. Therefore, they form very strong metallic bonds. very strong metallic bonds. Because of high nuclear charge, high effective nuclear charge and a large number of valence electrons, they form a very strong metallic bonds. And as a result, the enthalpy of atomization of transition metals are high. And then the third one was the transition metals generally form colored compounds. So this will be this is studied in coordination compounds as well. So the third one, most of the complexes of transition metals are colored. Most of the complexes of transition metals are colored. This is because of DD transition. So this is because of the absorption of, in one word it is DD transition. Let me explain this. So this is because of the absorption of radiation from the visible region. Radiation from the visible light region to promote an electron from one of the d orbitals to another. Transition occurs here. So electron donating species are called ligands. So in presence of ligands, the d orbitals. So we will be discussing in detail about ligands in coordination compounds. As of now, so ligands are the electron donating species. In presence of ligands, the d orbitals splits up into two sets of orbitals having different energies, T2g and dg, having different energies. Therefore, the transition of electrons from, so the transition of electrons can take place from one set to another. The energy that is required for these transitions, is quite small and falls in the visible region of the radiation. Thus, the ions of transition metals absorb the radiation of particular wavelength and the rest is reflected. Imparting the color to the solution. Different complexes exhibit different colors in the solution. Next, fourth statement was transition metals and their many compounds act as good catalysts. So catalysts are those substances which do not participate in the reaction but they increase the or decrease the rate of the reaction. Okay, so transition metals are very good conductors because the catalytic activity of transition metals can be explained by 2 points. Okay, so first one, transition metals provide suitable surface. They provide suitable surface for the reactions, to occur. As I already mentioned, they do not take part in the reaction. They only accelerate or decelerates the rate of the reaction. So they provide suitable surface for the reaction to occur. And then the second point is, so they have the ability to show different oxidation states. They have the ability to show different oxidation states. And form complexes. So these metals form unstable intermediate compounds. They form unstable intermediate complexes. Let me rub this off. They form unstable intermediate complexes. They form unstable intermediate complexes or compounds. So they provide a new path with lower activation energy, for the reaction to happen, occur. So lower the activation energy, better will be the reaction. Okay, faster will be the reaction. So we have explained the reasons for all the 4 statements. So first one was transition metals and many of their compounds show paramagnetic behavior. It's because of the unpaired electrons, and the enthalpies of atomization of the transition metals are high. And then transition metals generally form colored compounds. That's because of DD transition. And the last one was transition metals and their many compounds are good catalysts because they provide surface and they form unstable intermediate complexes. So which provide a new path with lower activation energy.